Yo, what's up guys, it's Talon, and today we're going to be talking about the best jungler on the patch, which currently is Vi. As you can see, we have 3 challengers in this game, so it's a little bit of a higher game. If my mic sounds different or I'm talking different, it's because I moved into college. I can't tell if the sound is a bit different when I'm in here because it's a different kind of place that I'm recording it, but if it is like that, I apologize. Either way though, getting right into it, talking about Vi. One of the main reasons that Vi is one of the best junglers is because he's pretty much good at every point in the game. A lot of junglers, either they take a while to scale to get online, or they can't really do anything once they get to a certain point in the game. And with Vi, not only do you have really strong early game, you have insanely fast clear speed, but you also scale very well and can lock down pretty much any enemy carry for the most part. She has a lot of damage in her kit, which means you don't actually have to build just full damage or anything like that. A lot of people go for Conqueror, but I actually go for Aftershock, and I go for the Resolve tree, so I go for Nullifying Orb, typically Bone Plating, and then you can go Perseverance or Overgrowth. Obviously Perseverance if they have a bunch of CC, and if they don't, then you go Overgrowth. And then I also go for Alacrity as my final rune because she auto attacks a bunch, so getting value from her attack speed obviously is useful from Alacrity. Overall, I kind of mess up this clear slightly, but her clear speed you can see is super fast. We just go through it. We're going to see that I get done around, or I get 5 camps done around 130. So pretty much you can 5 camp into Scuttle every time, and you're going to be level 4 at really high health as well, and it allows you to do things like this, like fight the enemy jungler, so then my Nautilus can flash and hook a wall, but we still get her flash, and because she hadn't cleared everything, we're able to actually get an invade. And again, this is all because of our fast clear speed that we're able to do these types of things to Shyvana. We get on the Scuttle first, we're able to then invade her again because of that clear speed. My Nautilus finds a really good engage there, and so we're able to get the first blood onto the Vayne. I don't know what Shyvana was doing here. I remember this game. This Shyvana was really weird. I kind of forgot a lot of my games of which one to go through because I haven't streamed in a couple days. I moved into college yesterday, so that's why I kind of just am going over a game I don't really remember super well. But with that said, I just wanted to talk about generally this champion strength, what makes it strong, and how to play it. The main things to keep in mind with Vi 2 is like she's pretty simple to play. There's just a couple things you have to know. You have to understand that you don't want to use both your first ability and your ultimate at the same time to catch a target out. Because typically what you want to do, you either want to first ability onto a target, get the knock up, wait for them to use their mobility, whether it's a flash or a dash or whatever, and then you ult to follow them. Whereas a lot of Vi players, they'll ult onto someone right away, and then their first abilities, has to charge up, so they don't have the time to charge it up. Or they'll ult onto them, first ability the person right away to stun them, and then the person will flash away. So the only time that you want to use both your, your ultimate and your first ability in quick succession is when the enemy have no mobility. So maybe you already know they don't have flash and they're a champion without a dash, or they already used their dash, then you can maybe do it to just lock them down and burst them and one-shot them. Or if you think you could one-shot someone, so like maybe someone has a spell you don't want them to use, and if they use it, like maybe they have stasis. If they have stasis, maybe you do have to first ability knock them up and immediately ult so they don't have time to use stasis if you think you can kill them within that time frame. So basically, Vi, it's really important to use mobility well to make sure you keep track of enemy spells, that type of thing, or else you're going to struggle. That's definitely like the biggest thing with Vi. Make sure you understand as well that your third ability is an auto reset, so you auto attack, then your third ability you auto again immediately, and you get a faster second auto off. You can see I just did it on that clear there. You're probably going to see me do it throughout the game. And then here, you're very good at diving champions, so if you see someone this low, you can look for any type of combo onto them. Here, I just go onto the Vayne with my ultimate. And you can see even there, like I first ability initially, then I kind of waited until they'd use something, and then I ult, and I'm thinking like, oh, if they flash then I'll probably be following at that point. But in that case, we kind of had to rush it because their jungler was here. For some reason, their jungler just walks at me. I don't know what their jungler is doing. I'm not going to lie. But at this point, then you see I look for my first ability flash combo here, I think. In a second, yeah, there's the first ability flash combo. And we're able to get the 1 kill. Get some turret plates out of it. And overall, I mean, we're already 3-0 and 3. This is an extremely strong early game. And generally, that's one of the really good parts about Vi is once you hit level 5, Vi is insanely strong. And you can hit level 5 in 2 minutes on Vi because you clear really fast. Before level 5, you're not the strongest champion ever. You're not weak, but you're not like insanely strong. Once you hit level 5, then you're pretty broken. And so at this point now, we're just going to clear our camps, probably look for a recall for our armor boots, go back to the bottom lane. For whatever reason, Shyvana keeps trying to invade my Krugs. I don't know if she really wanted those. Like, she's done that twice at this point, but we're obviously totally fine with it with how ahead we are, and then we just go on the set. nothing too complicated there, just making sure to ult him. And this is a really nice thing you can do as well. If you ult someone, again, you see how I waited, right? By the way, like, look, like, I'll kind of show this again with the mobility thing. So, like, he ends up going really, really far away before we're even, you know, ulting onto him. So we aren't just going to ult him when he was right next to our teammate. We wait until he used something. He used his ult, which was a form of mobility in that case. And then we ult him to lock him down, because at that point, if he flashed, he would have been out of my ultimate range. So I had to ult before that. And then he ends up being dumb and flashing before I land my ult. If he flashed after I landed my ult, I would have had to smite him to slow him, and then I still would have been able to chase him down, but I would have had to use a smite, and it would have taken a little longer. But that's just the type of thing too. So like Set, you know, that's a kind of unique thing where I'm like, oh, Set's gonna ult first, so we gotta wait for him to ult. Whereas normally, obviously, most champions don't have that type of spell. But either way, we end up being in a very good spot here. We prioritize the Herald, since Herald is just generally stronger. And at this point, we're just so much stronger than the enemy that we can pretty easily snowball on them. And again, just chase down the Set there. He gets ulted by my Mordekaiser, so we have to wait until the ult expires. But still, I believe, able to get the kill here. Yeah, we're able to get the kill right after. And that was the auto reset that I was talking about. Then we go on to the Ziggs, and he's used all his mobility at this point. So again, we know we can probably run him down and kill him with the auto attack reset from the third ability. Once again, getting a lot of value from the auto resetting, as you can see. I mean, that's, again, use your mobility well, auto reset properly, make sure you clear really quickly, and then utilize that quick clear speed to make some plays once you hit level 5, and you're probably going to have a good early game. I'm assuming you're not going to go 6-0 and 3 in 7 minutes normally, because I don't do that either, because that's, you know, obviously pretty insane of an early game, but you can get a lot of really good early games. And like I said, you still scale really well, and you're very tanky, especially with Aftershock. So even if you don't have a good early game, if anyone on your team is strong, you can still play to engage for them and make plays for them. You can switch the build up depending on the game. I usually go Trinity, Defensive Boots, Sundered Sky. And then after that, I'll often take Death Dance or Mob Malmortius. And then we go into Twin Guard or other tank items that fit the game, basically. So that's kind of the gist of the builds. Here, I believe we just have to run out because the Vayne does show up, but we don't mind. And again, you have a decent amount of wave clear too here. Like you can see, you can often do that Q through the wave, then auto attack, third ability, auto attack, and you pretty much kill it. Or you can just third ability the front of the wave and it does splash damage. So you can also clear waves really quickly. I think you're going to see me do it here. Yeah, with the wave clear. So we just wave clear really, really quickly, get a bunch of free gold, and we can push turrets decently quick because of our auto attack resets, again, as you see right there. And nothing too complicated. So this champion, again, very snowball-y, but doesn't have to snowball in order to actually be strong, which is kind of the nice part. This game, I could have even gone for anti-shield. You can go for Serpent's Fang anti-shield as like a second item after Trinity Force if the enemy have this much shielding. I don't like it because it makes you really squishy. You don't really get much survivability from it, so I typically try to not do that if I don't have to. However, this is a game where I think I probably should have, because they have Yuumi, they have Set, they just have a bunch of shielding. So in this case, it probably was better, but it is rare that you're going to do that, and you can see I kind of try to veer away from it if I don't have to do it. Especially because of the fact that we were ahead enough that I was kind of okay with not having it, whereas if I was more behind, I might need that a little more to get through the enemy's health bar. And then here, I flashed. That was a really stupid flash. I don't know why I thought I was in range, but we end up kind of wasting our flash for no reason. It is what it is, though. It happens. And yeah, practice that first ability plus flash combo too. Like maybe even overuse it if you're like learning Vi. Initially, just keep doing it. Keep spamming that that combo. Once you get it down, you know, it's not too complicated. Then once you've done it a bunch, you just only do it when it's actually necessary. But that's how I am with a lot of abilities on champions. Like the Thresh Flash Q, for example, I would just spam that nonstop before I got good at it, even when it was stupid to go for, even when I didn't need to, just because I'm practicing it, and that's kind of the purpose of my gameplay in that case, is just to practice that one specific combo. So going for it whenever you can is not bad, but obviously once you, again, get used to it, you kind of don't do it as much unless it's actually necessary. But it is a really good combo for gap closing and gives you an additional form of mobility. So as I spoke about, you often don't want a first ability and ult, but if you first ability ult and you know you have flash after, or you first ability flash onto them because you need a gap close and then you wait to ult until they go away, that's when it's going to be really useful. So you still have that flash as a mobility, and that's important too to keep in mind. But yeah, nothing too complicated going on in this game. Since we are snowballing so well, I think I might go for Frozen Heart, by the way. Yeah, I think so. This is a unique build a little. I go Frozen Heart third. It's something you can do as well when they have a lot of auto attackers who are not crit. In this case, Shyvana plus Vayne. I think Vayne is building partially crit here. but Vayne often does build like Blade of the Rune King and whatnot. But they have a lot of auto attackers that are AD, so getting the auto attack slowing is really useful. So I go for Frozen Heart there. I would have gone Death Dance probably if I had enough gold for it, but because I was 300 gold off, I thought, oh, this is going to be a nice power spike to hit on this exact timer anyways, and it's still a really useful item in the game. Again, you only need those 2 damage items of Trinity, Sundered Sky, and then after that, you either do get that Death Dance for a little extra damage, or you just, don't even worry about it. I got invaded here. That was a weird Shyvana. I have no idea. This Shyvana confuses the heck out of me. Like, I just don't know. I really don't know. I can't explain it. We have 3 challengers on my team and 2 Grandmasters, which means this person's probably a minimum of Grandmaster right now. And we're only about a month into the season. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know what to tell you. That was it was a very strange player, but we get a free double kill there. Barely did any work there, just last hit the 2 people. And so we obviously go for Baron. Probably get the Baron for free. Push out the waves. This is another thing, using Baron as a jungler. So the first Baron only lasts for a minute and 30 seconds. So oftentimes I don't even try to push that hard with it. I kind of just use it as a tool to reset, farm my camps, and then we can go and push with the last like 30 seconds of it once my team gets it pushed out. But as you can see here, we already have their outers. We already have their second, their tier 2 turrets, apart from the bottom lane turret. And so I don't have that much use of this just because it's such an early Baron. So instead, I just initially farm my buffs, especially making sure I get buffs, making sure maybe I can invade if I can. And then we can push at the end of the Baron, usually the last 20, 30, 40 seconds of it. But we don't want to overextend with it, as you saw our Nautilus do, for example. Now, in this case, we do see that we can get some poke on them, so I don't mind. But just not trying to do too much or anything like that. Vayne Yuumi can always be a problem, so you can see here I do first ability flash onto them. I'm just really trying to make sure I can shut down the Vayne and Yuumi. That's kind of the only lose condition we have. Whenever you're ahead a lot on these types of champions, you need to identify the kind of way that you can throw the game, the possible lose angle, and for me that was definitely Vayne Yuumi there. If Vayne Yuumi pop off and get a couple kills, all of a sudden they're going to be one-shotting you. That's just, how pretty much any enchanter plus any late game scaling ADC is going to work. So that was the main thing I was worried about in this game. As long as that was not a problem, then we were chilling. So that's why we really prioritized like that Q flash onto them in that specific situation. I will take a drink of water now because I've been talking a lot. It's a little weird because I have to like announce that I'm taking a drink of water so people aren't confused why I'm silent, because I don't have a face cam. So, and you guys will never get to see my face. I had to break it to you. Either way, completely unrelated because we don't have that much more to talk about with this game. Again, the main things I wanted you guys to learn from this game are that Vi is broken because of her early clear speed, because of the fact that she's extremely strong ganking level 5, and then the fact that she still scales really well as a tank and can still deal a bunch of damage because she can build early game bruiser items and then build the tank items later. Goes aftershock as well to be a lot tankier and still get some damage from the pass or from like the popping thing. And yeah, just overall a really broken champion. Make sure you use your mobility properly, not using all your mobility before the enemy use theirs. Making sure you use your ultimate oftentimes to follow. Making sure sometimes you ult someone and then first ability them backwards into your team as well, something to mention. And the auto resets with your third ability. If you know all those things about Vi and just about jungling in general, as long as you're pathing towards a stronger lane, playing around your stronger lane, you're probably going to be able to do decently well on Vi. She's one of those easier champions, as we kind of mentioned. And a lot of times just playing the easier champions is one of the simplest ways to climb, rather than trying to play Zed jungle or something. Even if Zed jungle hypothetically was stronger than Vi, which I don't think it is right now, but if it was, it still probably wouldn't be better to play for a majority of players in terms of climbing, just because of the fact that it's a lot harder to play. And I think I actually do go for Serpent's Fang last item here, it looks like. So since we had a bit of a different build, we had the tank item third. We end up going for the Serpent's Fang last, which makes sense because of all the shielding. They have gargoyles too. If they didn't have gargoyles, I probably wouldn't care as much, but with the gargoyles, it's definitely more important. And then here we just turret dive the Ziggs and end up getting him. Maybe I died of, oh, that was clutch from the Mordekaiser ulting there. Kind of saved my life. And I think I might go in and die anyways. I don't remember. No, I realize that I'm an idiot and that I should run away. So I do that. And then we go for the Baron. Free Baron. Going for Dragon next, and nothing too complicated here. Again, I think we just get the Dragon, start pushing out the lanes, and everything from here. You can see, oh wait, actually it is insane damage from the set. Oh no, yeah, he's second ability and then flashes onto my Ahri here. That's not that insane damage. She was pretty low already. Either way, at that point, I almost have anti-shield. If I recall, I get it. And then I can pretty much one-shot the squishies if I'm able to ult onto them too, which is nice. But It looks like there's not too much we can do here. I'm assuming we're not. Maybe we get some inhibs. Yeah, we sneak some inhibs out. We recall, we get our Serpent's Fang. And from there, all we have to do is make sure that not all of our teammates int at the same time. And we'll probably be chilling. But you can see here, even it was a little dangerous because the Vayne rather, did catch one of our teammates, still full health with a with a Yuumi on it, so I really have to be careful. And you can see I'm kind of waiting. I'm trying to wait for him to use his dash, and then I want to go on to him after he uses some type of dash. So like once he dashes, then I can go on him, but if I go on him and he still has his dash, it's pretty dangerous. So here you can see I went for the pick on him, pretty risky, but I knew if I'm able to find him, we're going to win the game. And so we're able to get a really good engage onto 3. Because I'm so tanky, I have so much engage, it works out decently well, but it honestly was more risky than I would have liked. And I didn't even click Gargoyle right away, so it was kind of scary that I could have died there. But the Xayah does end up ending off that, so got a bit dicey at the end because of the Vayne Yuumi, but overall, again, Vi as a champion can shut down those carries like the Vayne and Yuumi if they use their Veils or the QSS or whatever with your ult, stun, all that. You can shut them down pretty easy, make the engages for your team, and still carry in terms of damage as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.